Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while not talking. Now I'm back again after a long time. I hope everybody is happy there. Lochani nda molweni, sanibonani. So it's been a while. Like I said, I've been away, working on other projects. But I decided to say to give you what I call black. In this Black History Month, I decided to say, let me give you sort of historical lesson. You know, um, I'm currently speaking in the UK. From UK. For those who may not be aware, yes, I'm currently in the UK. So, in this History Month, I thought it's very necessary for our children to learn about history of the black people, especially in connection to ancient Egypt, Middle East, because in the most cases, when you talk about ancient Egypters, most people they fail to think that maybe ancient Egyptians is into Zema Arab or is things of Arabic. No, African people should interrogate the link between ancient Kemet and South African history or Southern African history, depending where you are. In this context, myself, I'm going to focus on the link between ancient Egyptian deities and the Botswana Totems and from Southern Africa. So, as you know, that there've been a lot of speculation by historians and cultural observers, especially those who are interested in the Sotho-Tswana from Southern Africa cultural history, that there is a great similarities or parallel between ancient Egyptians and then and the Botswana people or Sotho-Tswana people from Southern African. I'd like to take you through this, sort of a scholarship by juxtaposing or by triangulating some of the information from various sources in order to make it science, as you may follow. Like now, my central point here is to focus on what we call Egyptians, the Book of the Dead. I think you all know that the Book of the Dead is a modern term of collection of magical spell that the ancient Egyptians used to help them to get afterlife. This is like basically the Book of the Dead. It's a collection of the spell that ancient Egyptians used to get afterlife. When they're dead. So, as you are aware that the central values of Egyptian cultures was a mat. The so-called ancient Egyptian cultures or Kemet was a mat. Ma'at is a goddess or is a goddess. Goddess is Ma'at. So in South Africa, it's a Impe, it's an ostrich. It's in Botswana people we can say this associated with those totems of ostrich. It's a Ma'at, Barik Impe. And then this goddess Ma'at actually it's said that she personified what you call justice and truth and the order within the societies. So as you are aware that the Book of the Dead, in actual fact, nobody actually knows when did the Book of Dead come into the picture, into existence. However, what we know is that the oldest parts of this book was drawn from funerary writing. These are the writing for the dead people, and then which are also known as pyramid texts. Pyramid texts, dating back from the old Egyptian kingdom, Kemet and so on and so forth. However, parallel or in actual fact, there is a link between South African Sotho-Tswana people, totems, Babina di Polofolo, and the ancient Egyptian deities. These deities they are associated with the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So that are known or commonly used in the what you call religious practices, as well as what you call funerary practices when ancient Egyptians were burying the dead people. So in actual fact, what I'm trying to say is that because I am aware that due to the fact that in the legacy of apartheid and other stuff, many black South Africans don't have knowledge of Egyptologists. So if you try to tell them about ancient Egypt and the link to Botswana, some people say, well, how come? You know, because they feel like having totems, having animal totems, it's associated with negative things, especially in South Africa. We need to educate people that having totems, there's nothing wrong about it. It's part of parcel of our culture. So the Sotho-Tswana people of Southern Africa, their totems are actually linked to what we call Egyptian deities. The Egyptologists use the names, as you know, that they use the name Nubia to refer to the kingdom of Kush. You know, as you know, that the one that which is in south of Kemet, today ancient Egypters. As I said, there's a great parallel between the certain Egyptian ceremonies that are found within the Book of the Dead, as well as the Botswana totems. This kind of information or the scholarship that link South African Sotho-Tswana people with ancient Egypt has not been expelled, but has not been explored by our university due to the fact that many people don't understand the link between people of the sun or the Ra people and the African people. Now, let me illustrate this point based on what is called geography. We all know that in the northern hemisphere, the Tropic of Cancer runs from Egypt. And within that Egyptian location, the name Ra, it's apparent. It's also common. Whereas when you come to the southern hemisphere, in the part of from Limpopo to Botswana to Namibia, if you follow that particular areas in the southern hemisphere, there's what we call Tropic of Capricorn that runs through South Africa. Under Tropic of Capricorn, there are people that have different names. Like, for example, you can find a person, his name is Naledi, Ramaru, Litsatsi, Tladi, Khadima, Sifako. These things, all of them are actually linked to what we call the ancient history. We call this Astral religion. In other words, this is the religion of the star. Because we all know the concept of Ra that is in the what we call Northern Hemisphere. It's also associated with the sun, the Ra, which is the most important aspect of the sun. We know that the sun, that is very important for what? For the sunlight is essential for our health as well as our well-being. So many people in Egypt, they've got a god that's called Ra. This is one of the foremost Egyptian gods that actually important, and it's also involved in the creation and the afterlife. It's like it's important from the creation of a being and then the afterlife, what we call, and in other words, what I associated with the Egyptian Book of the Dead. You know, as I indicated earlier on, that this is very important for us to study the link between ancient Egypt and as well as the Tropic of Cancer. Why people who live within that particular region, their name are linked to Astral religion. Why do we have to get somebody Ra in South Africa and get somebody Ra in Botswana or in Namibia, as well as in other parts of Egypt? So linked to this kind of what we call Astral religion. Now, I would like to illustrate my point here by outlining or listing some of the Egyptian gods that are related to Sotho-Tswana totems. Totems, for those who may not understand, is that in South Africa there are various Bantus. The Sotho-Tswana people from South Africa, they've got totems. For example, Babina di Polofolo, which means these animals are actually related to their cultural practices. For instance, I'll list 5 or 6 of them so that you can be able to see that there's a great link between ancient Egypt, especially those that deal with funerary practice or what we call the book that are found in the Book of the Dead. Now, for example, we've got Sobek. So I don't want to talk about Pata because everybody in South Africa knows about Pata. Once you mention a Pata, everybody. Now I would like to start by this totem. The so-called Sobek. Sobek kibakwena, mina kwena. You know, as you know that the historical evidence when they come from the Ihlangeni, the first person to arrive to come out from Ihlangeni is Mpedi Muhulu. So whereby the word Ihlangeni and the Sobek are quite related. You know, you go to the Bible, you can hear that Moses was, you know, Pharaoh's daughter found Moses inside a river, inside the reeds. Term known as Mina Kwena, it's associated with the Egyptian deity known as Sobek. We've got thought. A thought is a Mina Chweni. In South Africa, it's a baboon. It's called thought. Mina Chweni, Habu, Mina Habu, which means Bahurute, could be associated what you call baboons, which is a Habu. It's a totem, is very important. It's represented by so-called a baboon holding a crescent moon, for those who are not familiar. We also have Hato. So if you walk around Tropic of Capricorn from South Africa, you cross to that side, Sotho-Tswana, you find there are people, their name is Mahato. Hato is which is a footprint in a Sotho-Tswana cultures. It's associated with goddess. It's associated with goddess, which is very important. God of motherhood. Mahato mean mother of footprint. It's associated with Hato, which is Mahato. It's actually associated with also a music or dance, because we all know that we African, when we do dance, it's about we would dance, through showing off our leg and so on and so forth. And even to make things to more precisely, in the southern Africa, there are various places where you find footprints. Those Kimahato, or some of them they call them Matieng. There are a lot of them in southern Africa. So this god Hato is associated with Mahato in South Africa. So we also have Anubis. Anubis is an ancient Egyptian god of the dead. King is a jackal. If you go around among Sotho-Tswana people, you'll hear people say, yo, this one ki Pokobie. The name Pokobie, which is a totem of Sotho-Tswana people, is associated with Anubis, ancient Egyptian god of the dead, which is represented of the jackal. So it's a totem of the Sotho-Tswana. There's another one called Laila. Laila is a god of fertility, fertilities. This has to in relation to after death, afterlife. The head of these totems, Kikubu, hippo, bakubung, hippo, Thomas, Minakubu, Kilaila is a god of fatalities. So which we all know that the most important, another god that is very important is within the same place in Tropic of Capricorn in South Africa and Egypt. It's in Tropic of Capricorn and Tropic of Cancer. It's called the Shai, very Shai, Kolobe. Muila Kolobe is a Shai, which is it is a pig. It's in Sotho-Tswana Shai, Muila Kolobe, which is a pig. Whereas Egyptologist Shai, it's a pig. The same, it's written like that. So the point I'm trying to make is that the African scholars, especially those who study African history, we need to understand the importance of Egyptologists and the link to South Africa, because there is no point of us to talk about Tropic of Capricorn. We don't understand its meaning. But ancient people who lived before us, they do know the importance of these tropics. They know there's a link between Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer in Egypt. Underneath of it, or within that region, geographical region, this major geographical region, many people, they use the word Ra. And these gods that you see of ancient Egyptian deities, they actually link to South African totems. Sotho-Tswana totem within Tropic of Capricorn. Now the question that we need to ask yourself, how is that possible? How do we have such similarities between Sotho-Tswana clans totems and ancient Egyptian deities? Are these people related? Now, I would like to ask you guys to contribute to this debate. Maybe some of you may know better than me. But from that point of view, I guess maybe some of you may contribute better than me. For today, I would like to conclude by saying, ladies and gentlemen, maybe to celebrate Black Month history, I would like to share with you this very important aspect of history, which is the link between the Sotho-Tswana from Southern Africa and Egyptian deities, ancient Egyptian deities, based on the Book of the Dead. So this information is actually, if you go and read the Book of the Dead, you can see that there are great similarities between the the character, the deity is there, and what you call Sotho-Tswana totems or babina di polofolo for those who come from Southern Africa, from bo baboons, bo shai, kolobe, bo hippo. Leila ki hippo, ne? It's a godness of the fatality, which is a bakubung. Anabis mina pukubye, which is the god of which is represented by jackals. We've got a hato, just to repeat again, mahato is that it's associated with what the motherhood, mother of, hato, it's a motherhood. It has to do with the dancing, and we all know that in South Africa, some parts of South Africa, we've got giant footprints, which we know that we've got thought, which is mina chweni, mina habu, which is in African totems. We know that things. What a sobek, mina, what do you call sobek mina kwena, so it's there, so in other stuff, the falcon ke muntu, you know that the word muntu ke muntu kabatu, it also have part of muntu. It's a falcon god, falcon god is what you call kinonya. For today, I think I'm done. Thank you.